Hello YouTube, welcome to another English lesson. My name is Anna and this is English Like a Native. You are live here on YouTube and also on Facebook, so thank you for joining me. Today we're learning about food descriptions. Hopefully you'll learn a few new words and a few new ways to describe food, and we're going to learn or be aware of 20 food idioms that you must know because they're used on a regular basis. And all the idioms I'm going to be teaching you today are ones that I've used many times. So hello, lots of you joining me here. Fabulous. So let's get started, shall we? Now, I want to start with just finding out what your favourite food is. So I'm a vegetarian. This means that I don't eat meat. Well, if I can help it, sometimes I've had no choice in the past, but I don't generally eat meat, which means I am a vegetarian. So my favourite food, I have two favourites, it's hard to choose. Vegetarian lasagna is one of my favourites. Lasagna is an Italian dish, of course. And fajitas, bean fajitas with lots of vegetables. And those are my two favourite foods. So what are your favourite foods? And some of you love meat. So one of you says kebab is your favourite food. Hello Mahail, hi. Carrots. Eric, your favourite food is carrot. That's great. Apparently, my mum used to say if you eat lots of carrots, you'll see in the dark. So Eric, can you see in the dark? My mum also used to tell me that if you eat the crust of your bread, the crust is the edge. If you have a slice of bread, the crust is the hard skin of the bread, basically the edge. And my mum used to say, if you eat the crust of your bread, then your hair will be curly. And of course that's not true, but I think this is called an old wives' tale. An old wives' tale. And they are tales that are told to children to make them behave themselves. So if they want you to eat something that you don't want to eat, they would tell you stories like it will make you big and strong, or it will make you see in the dark, or it will make your hair curly. So Eric says, I see in the dark like an owl. So obviously eating carrots does make you see in the dark. You should try aubergine parmigiana. I can't even say that, but it's an Italian dish and it's fantastic. Thank you, Antonio. I've tried to be a vegetarian, but it's so hard. It can be hard initially when you don't know what to eat as a vegetarian, but after a while it becomes easy. Rafia says fattoush. I don't even know what that is. Pasta. Lots of you like pasta. Lasagna. Biryani. I like a good curry as well. I think masala is one of my favourite spicy dishes. Banana is your favourite food. Banana is good for you, John. It gives you lots of energy, potassium. Shish kebab, good. Meat, chicken and fish. Meat, chicken and pasta. Anna, Alex chai halal. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm sure it's delicious. Halloumi sandwich. Ooh, might be a bit dry, wouldn't it? Do you put any sauce on it? Hot dog. Lovely. Hamburger, lots of cheese. So another old wives' tale, which First World Traveller is telling me about, is don't sit too close to the television. This is what our parents used to say. Don't sit too close to the television because it will make your eyes go square. My parents also used to tell me, this is turning into a different lesson altogether. My parents also used to tell me if you pull a funny face, or if you go cross-eyed, like that, they said, if the wind changes, you'll stick like that. Obviously, we can't predict if the wind suddenly changes direction. So they'd say, if you pull silly faces and you're not careful, if the wind changes, you'll stick like that. So you'll forever have cross eyes, which would not be fun, right? And I believed that for a very long time. I believed that. I also used to believe the tale, if you swallow chewing gum, it will stick your insides together and you'll die. So my parents used to say, you can't eat chewing gum because if you swallow it and it sticks your insides together, you'll die. And one day, I was about 5 years old, my friend gave me some chewing gum and we were sneaking the chewing gum, no one watching. And then we were running and I tripped and I swallowed the chewing gum. And then I was like, oh no, I'm going to die. And I ran home in floods of tears saying, Mummy, I love you, Mummy. Mummy, Mummy, Mummy. And she's like, what's wrong? Why are you so upset? And I was like, because I'm going to die any minute, the chewing gum is inside. And she then told me the truth. Anyway, these are old wives' tales. Okay, so let's get back onto food. Right, so I'm going to try writing on the blackboard for you. So, ways to describe food. So one descriptive word that you may or may not have heard of is, you can describe food as being acidic. Now, YouTube, can you tell me if that is the right way round or if that is back to front? I'm hoping that you guys can see this and it's not written back to front. So let me know. Facebook, I think you can see it the right way around. Yep. Just let me know. Great, so great. You're all saying it's right, it's perfect. Good. Facebook, can you let me know, was that the right way around? Somebody talk to me. Tell me. So acidic. Thank you, Eric. That's really kind of you. So Eric's saying he's sharing the live video on his Facebook page now, on a Facebook page. That's really helpful. Thank you. So acidic is when something is quite bitter and sharp. Some people like things to be acidic, but not too much. So foods that would be acidic would be a lemon or a lime or any citrus fruit. Citrus fruits are lemons, limes, oranges, I think grapefruits might be a citrus fruit, and they just got that kind of, when you take something that's acidic, it makes your mouth water, and if you put something acidic in your eye, so if you've got lemon juice in your eye, it almost burns like acid, which is where the word acidic, acid, comes from. Acidic, acidic. So it has a certain acid to it, it's acidic. Sometimes I might say that my tummy feels acidic. When you feel the acid in your tummy is too much and it burns in your tummy. Maybe you've had spicy food, or you've drank alcohol, or you've had lots of acidic fruits or too much sugar, and it's burning in your tummy. You could say, my tummy feels acidic. So we can describe foods and some drinks as being acidic. It's not necessarily a good descriptive word. Sorry, for those of you who don't know, tummy is your stomach. Tummy is probably known as a slang term, but we use it very often. A slang term for stomach. My stomach feels acidic because I've eaten too much acidic food or drank acidic wine. I might more often refer, yes, vinegar would be acidic, would it? Yes, vinegar is very acidic. I often will describe wine as being acidic. So I don't like white wine because I feel like it's more acidic than red wine. But I don't drink wine very often because it gives me a hangover. Onions are acidic, yes, very good. So the opposite, if something is not acidic, it's alkaline, but we don't really describe food as alkaline. Clean the board. So that's acidic. Okay, so another food, another food type of description word. Sorry, another descriptive word for food is the word. Oop, my chalk is broken. Is the word bitter. Bitter. Bitter is when something, again, tastes, not very nice. But if you have bitter so bitter is like the opposite to sweet. Not quite the opposite, because savoury would be the opposite to sweet, but bitter is when it's harsh. It's a harsh taste. It's not sweet at all. It's a harsh taste. And you could say that a lemon is also bitter, but a lemon is bitter and sharp. It makes your mouth water, whereas bitter on its own might not make your mouth water. It just has that unpleasant taste. Some people like bitter in small doses. I think we even have a drink here, like a lager, called bitter. So can you think of any? Yeah, so a strong coffee is bitter. A strong black coffee, no sugar, is bitter. Can you think of any other? Yes, a lemon tea. Actually, tea is a good one. If you have tea and you leave the tea bag in for too long, then the taste is very bitter. Some dark chocolates, when they don't put too much sugar in, can be bitter tasting. So another good point's come up here with Emmanuel. Is it Emmanuel? Emmanuel says, my sister is bitter. Now, you can describe people as bitter. If a person is bitter, then they are not happy, they have a grudge. Oh no, I've lost my connection on Facebook. Oh no. Hopefully that will reconnect. My internet's just being a little bit slow. So yes, we can describe... Hello, sorry I lost you there for a moment. We can describe a person as bitter, and normally they have a face like this. It means they're unhappy about something. So if me and you are in a race, a running race, and we both train equally hard, and then you win and I lose, instead of coming up and saying congratulations, well done, if I just stand there with my arms folded, yeah, whatever, then you can describe me as bitter. I'm bitter. Even if I say congratulations, but if I do it like this, congratulations, it means I'm bitter. I'm a bitter person. I'm bitter about losing the race. So that's the second one. Can you speak with bitter words? We don't use that phrase very often, to have bitter words. More the description for people. She is bitter, she was bitter. I will be bitter. I will be bitter if you win the race. Okay, so let's have a look at another word. If the person who is cooking is not a very good cook and they leave the food in the oven or on the hob in the pan for too long, then the food will burn. And when you eat it, it will taste burnt. It will taste burnt. So how does it taste? Tastes a bit burnt, if I'm being honest. And it's just the taste of burnt food. When a food has burnt and it gets that, is it like a charcoal kind of taste? So if food has been left in the oven or on the hob for too long, it will taste burnt. Hello in Venezuela, lovely. Excuse me, sir, this hamburger is burnt. No tips today. Good, I like that you're getting into this. Yes, many people burn the toast, so you have burnt toast. Some people like burnt toast. I like my toast nicely brown with lots of melted butter on top. Facebook, YouTube, if you like nice brown toast with melted butter hot out of the toaster, show me the love now. Put your thumbs up, show me the heart if you love fresh toast with melted, oh I'm getting hungry, melted butter, fresh and hot from the toaster with a nice cup of tea. I'm getting very hungry. I eat so much. I love food. I absolutely adore food. I'm sorry if I'm making you hungry. Okay, so another descriptive word for food if you use cream in your food, or if the food you're making is very smooth, then you could call it creamy. So my soup is creamy. I'm just going to remove this person. Thank you very much. Your soup could be creamy, especially if you put cream in your soup. So if you've got chicken soup and you've added cream to make it extra creamy, then it's creamy soup. Lovely. Sorry for eating in class, but I'm hungry. Don't worry, Diego. We can eat in this class, that's fine. It's all part of the research. Okay. Thank you guys, those of you who are sticking up for me. The nasty troll in YouTube calling me ugly. I don't care, but I've removed them. I don't need to have nasty comments in this class, but you're all being very lovely, so don't you worry about that. So we can also describe food. We can talk about the texture. So we've already talked about creamy. We can also describe food, the food texture, as crispy. Ooh, crispy. Oh, how do I do it that way? Crispy. Some of you are asking me to speak with an American accent. I'm not American, so I'm not going to use an American accent just because it confuses people, I think. So if something is crispy, now in the UK, the word crisp, I think is different in America. I think in America, what we call crisps in America are chips. So for us, chips are the fat potato cuts that you put in the oven, like French fries, but fatter. Americans call them fries, we call them chips. And Americans call crisps chips. It's very confusing, even I get confused. But crisps are the snack. It's potato sliced very, very thin. They're deep fried, so they're very crunchy. And you have them cold and flavoured. And these crisps would be crispy. So you can then make other food crispy if it has the same texture as crisps. So for example, when I used to eat meat, we would have roasted chicken. So chicken roasted in the oven, and I really liked it when you had crispy skin. When the skin was crispy. Shima says, so if I were in the UK and say chips, if you said I'd like some chips, then people would think you meant the hot pieces of potato like fries. They wouldn't think that you meant crisps if you meant the snack. So yes, you would be misunderstood. Okay, so that's crispy. Other descriptive words might be similar to crispy. You might say, I'm spelling that incorrectly. Spell this right. You might say crunchy. And we even have a chocolate bar. Ooh, there we go. We've got a dodgy C going on there. We even have a chocolate bar called a crunchy. A crunchy. And crunchy is again when it's hard, but maybe a bit thicker. If something's crunchy and thick, it's crunchy. Crunchy. Sorry, just reading the comments. Yeah, great. Okay, so crunchy is another word. If something breaks apart into little pieces quite easily, then it would be described as crumbly. 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 And we have a dessert that we call a crumble. A crumble, so an apple crumble, it's usually with fruit. An apple crumble, what else? A raspberry crumble, a rhubarb crumble. Yes, a biscuit would crumble. You could describe your biscuits as crumbly. Sometimes cheese can be crumbly. Certain types of cheese could be crumbly. I wouldn't say the egg was crumbly. The egg shell would crumble. What are we saying? Facebook's gone a bit quiet unless I'm not getting the messages through straight away. Cool, so there we have crumbly. All right, the next one, I hate it when food is described as this. When it's got lots of fat on it, it could be described as greasy. If it has a lot of grease or a lot of fat, oil, it can be described as greasy. It's not nice. Like you might have, if something's been in the deep fryer, you could have greasy chips or greasy meat. A greasy hamburger, if it's full, absolutely full of oil and fat, it's greasy. And sometimes when you're eating, the grease drips down your hand and it's all, ooh. One of you's asked, is it like honey? The texture is, but we wouldn't call honey greasy. Honey is runny honey, but not greasy. Greasy food is usually using fat or grease when there's too much. And it's like, ugh, and you're trying to eat your burger. Sometimes pizzas can be greasy, yes, when there's just too much grease. So it's unpleasant. If something's greasy, it's unpleasant. You can say that someone's hair or skin is greasy if it's got a lot of oil in it. Okay, we're getting there. A pleasant descriptive word, a positive descriptive word, is if you call something juicy. If something is juicy, usually you describe fruit as being juicy. You might say, oh, I've got a lovely juicy apple. It means it's full of juice, obviously. It's got a lot of liquid. It's very moist, moreish. It's lovely. It's a very nice descriptive word. It's very juicy. You could have juicy meat, yes. When you cut into the meat, if it lets out some juice, some fluid, then you go, oh, it's a nice juicy steak. Someone says my girlfriend is juicy. Okay. Your hamburger can be juicy, yes. So if you have a juicy hamburger, if your hamburger's letting out lots of nice fluid and it tastes good, then you say it's juicy. If your hamburger is letting out fluid and it's fat and doesn't taste nice, then it's greasy. Okay? Good. A juicy barbecue. Yeah, if everything on the barbecue is juicy. Good. Okay, no bad words on here, please. I'm just going to remove that. Take you out for a little while. Thank you very much. Okay, right, so we've got, here's another one. If you smash everything together, if you have carrots or peas and you don't want them whole, you can, no, I'm talking and writing the wrong thing. Hang on. Hang on. Write, then talk. You can describe them as being mushy. Mushy. It's when it's not whole. When it's not whole, it's mushy. Yes, I wrote the wrong thing. It's because I was saying mash and writing at the same time. If I have any of my moderators in YouTube, could you just keep an eye on these comments, because I'm getting some trolls through. So if you can just get rid of those for me, that'd be great. Thank you. So mushy, and we talk regularly about mushy peas. When you take peas and you squash them down until it's just all squished. They're mushy peas. Mushy peas. And we even sell mushy peas in a tin can. So you can buy a can of mushy peas. We like mushy peas. Okay? Good. So, mushy peas. But you can have mushy other things. You can describe anything as mushy if it's been squished. Oh, a good one. If the food is not good, if it's past its if it's past its best, if it's gone off and it's bad, you shouldn't eat it, you can describe it as rancid. Yes, rotten, you could also describe it as rotten, Sergio. But this is a good word. Maybe you haven't seen this word before. It's a great descriptive word. I think it makes you think of food, rancid. Ooh, it's rancid. Rancid. Okay? So if food is bad, you could say the meat was rancid. The bread was rancid. The milk is rancid. Don't drink it. So rancid. Great. Okay, just a few more and then we're going to get on to idioms. Okay? So if the food, like an avocado, for example, or certain fruits, you want to know when it's ready to eat, because sometimes you'll buy an avocado and it's not ready to eat. So you wait until it is ripe. Good, ripe. So if it is ripe, it's ready to eat. So I'm going to buy a ripe avocado. These avocados are not ripe. Or you can say they are unripe. They are unripe. Someone's asking, are you a cook? I know how to cook some stuff, but I'm not a cook. That's not my job. Good. Okay. If something has a lot of salt in it, and you can taste the salt, you would say it is salty, or it's not salty enough. So crisps are salty. You could describe certain chips as salty. Sometimes soup is salty. If you go to a restaurant and there's too much salt in your food, you can complain and say, hang on, my avocado isn't ripe and my soup is too salty. Okay, two more. I'm going to put them both on the same board because they're used together quite a lot. Especially when you go for Chinese food. We have a lot of Chinese restaurants here, and you might like to have something that is sweet and sour. So we usually ask for sweet and sour sauce. But you can individually describe your food as sweet. My soup is quite sweet, actually. I expected it to be salty, but my food is actually quite sweet. I like sweet tea. I like sweet food. I like sweets. Sometimes your dessert, your pudding or dessert is covered, your dessert is called a sweet. So would you like a sweet? You might be asked when you finish dinner, would you like a sweet? It doesn't mean a little boiled treat, it means pudding. Okay? But then also we can describe things as sour. Sour, which is the opposite to sweet. Now you can also describe a person as being sweet, or you can describe a person as being sour. If someone is sweet, they are nice, they are lovely. If they are sour, and then it's the same as being bitter. One of these kind of people. Sweet, sour, okay? So it's nice to call someone sweet, not so nice to call someone sour. You can say someone has sour grapes. If someone is bitter, like we described earlier, you can say she has sour grapes. Almost like she's putting a sour grape in her mouth, a rancid grape in her mouth and going, if she has a face like that, then she's got sour grapes. Sour is not the same as salty. Sour and salty are slightly different. Okay, sour is more like bitter. Or acidic would be more sour. When the milk's gone bad, then the milk you could describe as sour. Sour milk. But salty can be pleasant. Salty can be a good thing, a nice thing. Okay? Yes, rancid and gone off are the same thing. Okay, so now time for the fun bit. Let's talk about 20 food idioms that you should know because they're used on a regular basis by English natives. So the first one is to butter someone up. I'm going to write butter him up. In fact, I'll write it better than that. I'm not very used to writing with chalk. Writing with chalk is hard because my chalk keeps breaking. Butter him up. So, to butter him up, or butter her up, or butter me up. It's to be nice to somebody. It's to be nice to somebody and treat them well, whether they deserve it or not. So I might give someone lots of compliments, even if they don't deserve it. So let's pretend that someone is my boss. Let's pretend my boss is not very nice. He's always mean to us. He's a bad boss. But I want a promotion. I need him to like me because I need a promotion that he can give me. So even though he's a bad boss, I will tell him that he's a good boss. Oh, you're the best boss in the whole world. You manage the team so well. You have the best ideas. You look wonderful today. That's a nice suit you're wearing. I'm being nice to him, even though he doesn't deserve it. I'm buttering him up. I'm buttering him up so that I can get what I want. So to butter someone up is to be nice to someone to get something in return. It's the same as suck up. So someone can be described as a suck up or be seen to be sucking up. I'm sucking up to somebody. I'm sucking up to him. But butter is the one we're looking at, buttering him up. I was buttering him up all week and I finally got my promotion. Okay? So that's one to remember. Now, an idiom that I was asked about only last week was, it is my cup of tea. Can you read that? It is my cup of tea. If something is your cup of tea, it means it's something that you enjoy, that's something you like. It can be a thing or a person or an environment. If I walk into a theatre because I'm theatrical, I enjoy the theatre, I enjoy that kind of environment, I could go, oh, this is just my cup of tea. If I meet the actors, I can say, they're my cup of tea. These kinds of people are my cup of tea. Okay? So you describe something that you like, that you prefer, something, somebody, as your cup of tea. Okay, we've just had one mentioned there that I'll mention now. It's on my list. And I'll mention now, I can't remember who brought it up, but because it's... So just so you know, if you don't know already, I see 3 comments at a time. And as soon as someone else comments, it pushes all the other comments up. So if I don't read out your comment or I don't respond to any questions, it's nothing personal. It's just that I don't see it all, okay? So, what did we just say? A piece of cake. I'm sure you must have heard this before. If something is a piece of cake, yum, 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 a piece of cake means it's easy. English is a piece of cake. These idioms are a piece of cake. Standing up and sitting down is a piece of cake. So if something is easy, then it is a piece of cake, and we use that all the time. Now, if any of you have teenagers coming round to your house, then you might complain that they are, or that they eat you out of house and home. So, oh, these teenagers are eating me out of house and home. To eat you out of house and home. To eat you out of house and home. My Uncle Dave came to stay with me for a whole week. And I tell you, he ate me out of house and home. I'd love to have you over, but you will eat me out of house and home. This means that someone eats all your food, eats a lot of food. So if someone eats you out of house and home, they've eaten everything you have. So somebody who eats too much might eat you out of house and home. My mum used to complain about this a lot when I was young. She's like, "Oh, Anna, you're eating me out of house and home." Sorry if you can hear that, that's my washing machine. My washing machine is going because it's a nice sunny day, and I want to get my washing out in the sunshine so it dries quicker. Yes, it's true. I used to eat people out of house and home. I still do because I love food. I love food. I do a lot of exercise though, so I think it's fair play. If you eat a lot, then you have a lot of energy. You exercise a lot. Because of exercise, you need to eat more, and it's just grow, grow, grow. You might be told not to put all your eggs, do you know what I'm going to say? Put all your eggs in one basket. Ping, 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 ping. So someone might talk about putting their eggs in one basket. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. You might be warned. This means if you rely on something. So let's say I need a job. I actually do need a job. I need a job, and I look at some jobs that are available in the newspaper or on the internet, and I see there are 5 jobs, but there's one job that I really want. There's one job I really want, and I decide I will only apply for that job. I won't do anything else. I won't look anywhere else. I won't apply for the other jobs because in my mind, I want that job and nothing else. But if I don't get that job, then I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. It'll cause a lot of problems. So what I did was I put all my eggs into that one basket. The job being the basket and the eggs being my hopes and opportunities. I put all my eggs into one basket, and that basket had a hole in the bottom, should we say. So it's about making sure you spread out your investments. So don't invest all your hopes into one thing. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Don't concentrate all of your prospects or resources into one place or thing. You could lose everything. Really great description there. Well done. Good. So what else do we have? Oh, here's a good one. Don't cry over spilt milk. Don't cry over spilled milk. Sorry, my writing's getting worse and worse. Don't cry over spilled milk. This means if the milk is spilled, there's nothing you can do about it. If it's happened, it's happened. There's nothing you can do apart from clean it up. So there's no point, there's no need to cry and get upset about something that you can't change. So I can't stop that milk. I can't turn back the time. I can't make the milk go back into the bottle. So don't cry over spilled milk. I'm trying to think of an example, but Khaleb says you need a whiteboard. Yes, I know, but they cost about £30-40 and I don't have any money right now. So I'm afraid we've got a £1 blackboard from the pound shop. So don't cry over spilled milk. Let's say I put my favourite dress into the washing machine and the washing machine rips it or shrinks it, makes it a different colour. Something goes wrong and my dress is no longer a nice dress. There's no point in me getting upset and crying because it won't change anything. The best thing is to be level-headed and calm and think of a solution, like buying a new dress. I've got something in my eye, probably chalk dust. Okay, so here's another one. Someone might say, go nuts. Go nuts. Or go bananas. Go nuts or go bananas. This it's got a few meanings. If I say to you, do you mind if I help myself to some of your food in the kitchen? Food. Do you mind if I help myself to some of your food? Someone might reply, go nuts, go bananas, do your thing, go crazy. It just means let go, do what you want. It can mean to go crazy, so you can say she went nuts, meaning nuts in a pleasant way, like, ah! You can say that Anna is nuts. Anna's not like a normal English teacher, she is nuts, because she comes on and she behaves like this. Or you can call someone nuts in a negative way. If they're slightly mental, if they've got mental disorders, then you can say she's nuts. It's not a pleasant way to describe someone with an illness, but sometimes that is the phrase that's used. She's nuts. But yes, you can say to someone, go nuts, go crazy, do what you want. You might talk about going to a party and you're going to let your hair down. You're going to release your inhibitions. You're going to have a good time. You could say, I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to a party tonight. I'm going to go nuts. Or she went nuts at the party last night. She went bananas. I think one of you's just said, spill the beans, which is not one that I was going to write down. But to spill the beans, if you spill the beans, you tell a secret. Good. So one that I use regularly is to take it with a pinch of salt. A pinch of salt. Take it with a pinch of salt. This basically means don't take it too seriously. It might not be true. So if someone normally tells lies, or somebody usually over-exaggerates, that's a good way to describe it. If somebody usually over-exaggerates, it means that you can't trust exactly what they say. So if I'm the person who over-exaggerates and I say to you, hey guys, guess what? I've just released a video and it's had 1 million views in like 10 minutes. My video got 1 million views. If I'm probably not to be trusted, if you can't trust what I say, then you might say to everyone, hey, take it with a pinch of salt. It's probably not true. Yeah? So you take it with a pinch of salt. Don't believe it completely. So take it on board, but don't completely believe it. Don't be naive. Another good word, naive. Don't be naive. Whew, my kitchen's getting so dusty. Okay, take it with a pinch of salt. Oh, here's a good one. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. That's a long one to write. The proof is in the pudding. So this basically means that the evidence will become apparent. For example, being very literal. If I said to you, "Oh my God, my puddings are amazing. This is going to be the best cake ever. My cakes are the best cakes in the whole wide world." You could take my word for it, or you could wait for the proof. And the proof will be in the evidence. The proof will be in the pudding. So when you eat the pudding, you will know whether or not I'm telling the truth, whether or not my pudding is the best pudding in the world. Yeah? So the proof is in the pudding. So the proof will come apparent. We don't really use it very often with food. We use it to describe what people are doing. So I might say, I've worked really hard. I've worked really hard organising the best party for my dad's 60th birthday. My dad's 60th birthday is going to be the most exciting party in the whole wide world. And people could say to me, yes, well, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. Okay. That means we'll find out on the night of the party if it's true. Okay, for those of you who are writing in non-English, I don't know why I did that. Those of you who are, I'm not sure what language it is, but I don't understand what you're writing, so I apologise. I won't be able to respond to you if it's not English that you're writing in, because I don't know what you're saying. Okay, so we have proofs in the pudding. Oh, here's a good one. If you don't pay very much for something, if something is really cheap, then you could say that I paid peanuts for it. Oh, I didn't write that very well. Right on the edge of the board. Squashed. You can pay peanuts. I paid peanuts. It was so cheap. I paid peanuts. So this blackboard, I paid peanuts for it. It was nothing. It was inconsequential. It was unimportant. It was such a small amount of money, I don't even remember. It was peanuts. It was peanuts. It cost peanuts. Okay? So if you say to someone, how much is it? And they say, oh, it's peanuts, don't worry. Then they don't want very much money from you, so that's a good thing. If someone says to you, it'll cost you an arm and a leg, then you need to worry, because it means it will cost you a lot. It'll be very expensive. Someone might bring home the bacon. If someone brings home the bacon, it means they bring home the money. Oh, I'm going to bring home the bacon. He brings home the bacon. She brings home the bacon. It's whoever brings the money into the household. That whoever brings the money into the household. That person brings home the bacon. So they bring home the food. Not that everybody eats bacon. I don't eat bacon. But to bring home the bacon is to bring home the money. Oh, I love it when people tell me this. When, again, if I say, how much is it? Someone might say, it's as cheap as chips. It's as cheap as chips. As cheap as chips. Do people use idioms on a daily basis? Yes, they do. And so many. In the UK, we talk in idioms all the time. So that's why it's important that you know these. Great. So if something is as cheap as chips, it's like peanuts. It's really cheap. It's really, really cheap. Okay? So peanuts or cheap as chips. We're getting towards the end. We're getting there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 left. If you're enjoying it so far, then please show me the love. If you're still with me, if anyone's still here, show me the love. Give us a thumbs up. Let me know, let YouTube know that you're still enjoying what's going on here. Obviously, these lessons are free, guys, but the more you can help me by sharing and liking and subscribing, then that helps me to promote the channel. But obviously what I do for you is free. Oh, thank you, guys. Lots of love over here on Facebook. Thank you, thank you. Nano says, we love you, Lucy. My name's not Lucy. I'm Anna. I'm Anna. Lucy is the beautiful blonde lady who's a friend of mine. And she is wonderful. And I'm sure you love her too. Most people do. She's wonderful. Okay, so if you're a very busy person and you have lots of investments, perhaps lots of money in lots of different places, you could say, I have lots of fingers. Oh, I can't write this, it's very long. Lots of fingers in lots of pies. My chalk is getting too thick. Lots of fingers in lots of pies. Lots of fingers in lots of pies. If you have lots of fingers in lots of pies, you've got lots of different investments. If the pie represented money or income and you have a finger in it, then that's your income. If you have lots of fingers in lots of different pies, it means you have lots of different investments. Or a pie could also represent something that you do. So I do gymnastics, I do squash, I do climbing, I do English teaching, YouTubing. I have lots of fingers in lots of different pies. I have lots of things going on. But normally it refers to investments. Okay? And if you are interested in some of the other things that I do, good practice for your English listening as well, I do have 2 other YouTube channels. One of them is a singing channel where I help people to sing. I give singing exercises and advice and singing backing tracks. So if you enjoy singing, you can go and check that out. That's in the description of both of these videos. And I also have more of a personal YouTube channel that's all about my climbing, my gymnastics, my YouTubing. So if you are interested in that, you can go and check that out. That's called Anna's Big Adventure, and the links are in the descriptions, wherever they are on the screen. Okay, and I'd love to see you there. My adventure channel actually doesn't have many subscribers. I only have, I think, 1,900, which is very low. But anyway, maybe you'll enjoy that if you go over there. I have chalk dust everywhere. Okay, someone might describe you as a couch potato. Does potato have an E on the end? I never remember how to spell it. I'm dyslexic, by the way, if anyone wonders. So my spelling isn't always wonderful. I don't think that's right, is it? Is it like that? Is that right? Does someone know how to... Everyone's writing it in different ways. How do we spell potato? That's ridiculous that I don't know how to spell potato. Well, I'm not a very good English teacher, am I? I'm going to try and find out now how to spell potato. Potato with just an O. Okay, thank you guys. This is called a brain fart. A brain fart is when your brain stops working. It's not a formal phrase, it's a slang phrase. When your brain farts and you're like, what? I don't know what I'm saying. Brain fart. See, some of you are spelling potato with an E. I wonder why I'm confused about that word. I wonder if it's spelled differently somewhere else. Anyway, a couch potato is somebody who is lazy, who sits on the couch and is a slob. They just sit there and they do nothing. They look like a big potato. A couch potato. Someone who sits on the couch and does nothing. Yes, taba fiction, brain fart. You're right, brain fart. That's right. You're my sugar to my tea. Does this mean you're the reason of my love? Yeah, kind of. If you're the sugar in my tea, it means that you're a good companion. It's a very romantic phrase. Not brain fail, brain fart. F-A-R-T, brain fart. Probably not the best phrase I should be teaching you, but it's definitely what we use all the time. Oh, I have a brain fart. Okay, so a child may be described as looking as though butter wouldn't melt. Butter wouldn't melt. If we say this, if butter wouldn't melt in your mouth, it means you're very, very innocent. So if you walk into the house and the house is an absolute disaster, if the house looks so messy, something bad has happened in the house because there's so much mess, and you look at me and you look at my brother and I look like this, it wasn't me. Then you could say, she looks as though butter wouldn't melt. She looks as though butter wouldn't melt. It can't be her. She looks innocent. Okay? Sorry if you guys on YouTube are experiencing a bad connection. My 4G says it has at least half bars. I don't know why it's being slow. Sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. I am on Facebook as well, guys, at the same time. So if you're really struggling on YouTube, then come and have a look at Facebook too. We're nearly finished anyway. So we've got something can smell fishy. Something can smell fishy. So if something smells fishy, it's suspicious. If you don't trust it, if it's suspicious, then it smells fishy. So if something out of the ordinary, something doesn't seem right, you might say, this situation smells a bit fishy. So it doesn't mean there's actually a bad smell. It means, oh, hopefully that connection is back up now. Some of you were complaining about the connection, but it seems like it's come back. Hopefully you're all still with me. Yeah, so if something smells fishy, then it's suspicious. It doesn't seem right. If food, apart from fish, smelled fishy, then you wouldn't eat it. Smells fishy. Okay. You might call someone small fry. Say, hey, you're small fry. If someone calls you small fry, it means you are pretty unimportant. If you're small fry, you are unimportant. So a company, if a company is small, say like a small computer company opens up. They sell phones and they sell computers, but they're small. They are small fry compared to Apple, for example, or Macintosh. Microsoft. So small fry. Small fry means unimportant. Okay, 3 more to go and then we're done. If somebody is described as playing the gooseberry, I've written it the wrong side of the board. Someone is described as being the gooseberry, then they are the third person. They are the third person on a date. So if 2 people are on a date and you take your friend along as well, your friend kind of feels like they're not wanted there because the couple are getting romantic. So if boyfriend and girlfriend are together on a date and you're there as a friend, you're kind of in the way, you are a gooseberry. You might say to your friend, look, I'd love to come along, but I don't want to be the gooseberry. I don't want to be the gooseberry. I'm having problems with my battery. My charger's not charging. Hopefully we don't lose power. Hopefully not. Should I get my other charger? Okay, two more. Okay, two more very quickly, and I'll have to wrap up because my phone is going to die. So the other thing you could be described as is cheesy. If something is cheesy or someone is cheesy, it means they're kind of low quality and predictable. Like a film can be cheesy, like a romantic comedy. Oh, it's cheesy. It's predictable. It's low quality. And the final one is to be described as nice as pie. If you are nice as pie, it's the same as being described as sweet. She's sweet. She's nice as pie. He was being nice as pie. It smells fishy to me. Why is he being nice? Okay, so I'm going to wrap up there, guys. We have been going for an hour anyway, so it's time to finish. All that's left to say is thank you so much to those of you who are my moderators, who've been moderating for me. That's been really helpful to you guys. Thank you. Thank you to my patrons who have been fabulously supportive throughout my whole channel life. You've been there to support me every step of the way. For my patrons, starting in a few weeks, I'm going to be doing live sessions just for you. So I will reduce the live sessions I do on to everybody, and I'll do live sessions for patrons so they get a more intimate experience. If you are interested in becoming a patron, then you can. The links are in the description below. It's basically just people who make a very small donation to the channel. It can be as much or as little as you like, and in return you get things like Skype calls, early access to all the video lessons, and very soon you'll also get private live lessons just for the patrons, which are only a few. At the moment I think I have 2 or 3. So if you want to consider becoming a patron, the links are in the description, along with links to all my social media channels. Please come and join me on Instagram. I'm doing free lessons every day on Instagram, so come join me there. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and click the bell notification button so you never miss a future lesson. All right, the next session will be on Friday at a slightly different time, perhaps more around the middle of the day. I'm not quite sure exactly when because I have to go to the hospital in the morning. Don't worry, it's nothing too worrying, so everything will be fine, but I do need to be at the hospital, so as soon as I get back I will indicate when the lesson will be. All right guys, love you lots, take care, have a lovely day, see you on Friday.